Hello students, welcome to the English class. Today we are taking up a grammar topic of class 8. But before we move to our today's topic, let us pay attention to the conversation of the two friends. Sonia: I have a great news for you. Radha: what is it about? Sonia: Suresh, the resident of our city, has been selected to the Indian hockey team. Radha: that's great. Our city is famous now. Sonia: one more thing. Indian scientists will launch super missile Surya this week. Radha: fantastic. Sonia: most important news which is of your concern. New movie of your favorite actor Amitabh Bachchan, Chehre, is coming soon. Radha: wow, amazing. Tell me one thing. Where from you get all these news? Sonia: simple. I read newspapers daily. Look at today's main headline. Radha: man killed in accident. But what does it mean? Does it mean the man killed someone or he himself was killed? Tell me how to explain it. So, students, today we are taking up the topic of explaining the newspaper headlines. But before starting the topic in detail, we must know what is meant by newspaper. A newspaper is a sheet of paper having many informative articles. Newspapers are typically published daily or weekly. You know, students, there are many benefits of reading newspapers. Let us read about these benefits. Newspapers provide information and general knowledge. They are good for developing reading habits. Newspapers widen our outlook. They help us to learn communication skills. By reading newspapers, cultural values are also inculcated in us. Students, skills are also developed by reading newspapers. All of you know that there are 4 skills in English language, and these skills are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And how these skills are developed? Let us know by preparing assignments on the given topic taken from the newspapers and presenting them among the peer groups. Develop speaking and listening skill. Another thing is that by reproducing any given article from the newspaper in one's own words can enhance reading and writing skills. Students, we all know that headlines are incomplete sentences. That is why we often misunderstand their meanings. Now, we are going to learn how to explain the newspaper headlines in detail. Let us take up the topic in detail. For that, carefully read the following newspaper headlines. First headline: PM leaves for Moscow. Here I have underlined the verb leaves. So this verb is in simple present tense. Read the next headline: Man killed in an accident. Here I have underlined the verb killed. This verb is either in simple past tense or the past participle in passive form. Next headline: Country leader question time. Now in this headline we see that there are 4 nouns, but they are not connected with each other. Read the next headline: Mayor to open shopping mall. In this headline, the infinitive to of non-finite verb is used. So we noticed that in all these headlines, different types of verbs have been used. So how to explain these headlines? To explain different types of headlines, we must know that there can be different categories of headlines. Let us read these categories one by one. Number 1, noun phrases. In some headlines, there can be only noun phrases. Number 2, a group of nouns unconnected. As we noticed in the exercise done earlier, there can be a group of nouns which are not connected with each other. Number 3, simple tenses used instead of continuous or perfect forms. That means if the simple tenses are used, we can make the meaning of the headline clear if we read it in terms of continuous or perfect forms. Next point is helping verbs are omitted in the passive forms. Next point, articles are omitted. And the last one is infinitive to refers to future time. That means if infinitive to appears in some headline, it means the line is referring to the future time. Now I am going to explain these categories with examples. First category, noun phrases. A noun phrase describes a noun with no verb. Example, read the first headline. unexpected visit. Here it is a noun phrase, but no verb at all. Here we can question ourselves that who is going to visit? Our answer could be anything. I have made the explanation like this. The education minister paid an unexpected visit. You could have used the phrase, my uncle paid an unexpected visit, or you also could have used, one of my old friends paid an unexpected visit. So like it, you can explain such type of headlines. Next example, headline, overwhelming response of voters. So we can explain this headline simply by using there. There was an overwhelming response of voters. Second category of headlines is group of nouns unconnected. Examples. Read the first headline. Widow Pension Pay Committee. In this headline, we have 4 nouns, and these nouns are not connected with each other. So how to explain such type of headlines? We can explain such headlines by reading backwards. Explanation. When we start from the last word, the explanation would be like this. A committee has been formed for the pay of widows' pension. Next example. Headline. Coca Cola Company Betterment Union. Again, we are to read backwards. Explanation. A union has been made for the betterment of laborers of Coca Cola Company. Remember one thing, when we do such type of headlines, in explanation we are to use present perfect tense in the passive form. Now we come to the third category of headlines. This is simple tenses in place of continuous or perfect forms. That means where we find such type of headlines, the meaning becomes clearer when we read the sentence in the form of present perfect or present continuous tense. Example. Read the first headline. PM leaves for Moscow. Explanation. The Prime Minister has left for Moscow. So, in this headline, the verb leaves is in simple tense, and in the explanation, we have used present perfect tense. Next example. Headline. Former PM passes away. Again, the verb passes is in simple present form. Explanation. The former PM has passed away. Again we have used present perfect tense to explain the headline. Next headline, party leader asks voters to give chance. Now we are going to explain this headline by using present continuous tense. Explanation. The party leader is asking voters to give his party a chance to win in the coming elections. Now we come to the fourth category of headlines. Helping verbs omitted in passive forms. Examples. Headline, 200 planets spotted. Explanation. 200 new potential planets have been spotted. Next headline, 6 people killed in explosion. Explanation. 6 people have been killed in an explosion. So, the points to be noted down is forms of verbs like spotted and killed, which I have underlined. They are usually past participles with passive meanings and not past tenses. That's why in the explanation we have used the passive form of present perfect tense. Next we have the fifth category of headlines, that is articles omitted. In many of the headlines, both definite and indefinite articles are omitted. Examples. Read the first headline, PM leaves for Moscow. Here, the verb leaves is in present simple tense, and also there are no articles. By providing articles, we are able to explain the headlines in a more effective way. Its explanation is, the Prime Minister has left for Moscow. Second headline, new grades for school teachers. Again, we are providing article, definite article, the, in the explanation. Explanation, the school teachers in the state have been given new grades. Now we come to the last category of headlines. Infinitive to refers to future time. That means if infinitive to comes in any headline, that means we are referring to the future time. Examples. First headline, business schools to take more students. Explanation, business schools are going to take more students. Here, the underlined phrase are going to is referring to the future time. Second headline, Modi to attend ASEAN summit in Philippines. Explanation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to have a visit to the Philippines. Here the underlined phrase is going to is referring to the future time. After going through these categories, I am going to take up exercise from your grammar book. In your grammar book exercise, only two types of categories have been used. That is, the category where verb is in simple present and where the verb is in simple past, which we will convert into past participle having passive meanings. So let us read the first headline. 10 killed in a Hosiery Godown fire. Explanation. 10 people have been killed in a hosiery godown when a fire broke out accidentally. Next headline. Youth shoots dead his uncle. So students, in this headline, simple present form of the verb is used. Explanation. A young man of 20 in Goldbug colony has shot dead his uncle in a property dispute. We have done earlier that when simple present tense is used in the headline, we convert it into either present perfect form or present continuous form. In this explanation, we have used present perfect form. Now, next headline. Residents get iCards full of errors. Here again, in the headline, simple present form of the tense is used. Explanation. The residents of Basant colony have received the iCards which are full of errors. Again, we have used present perfect tense while explaining the headline. And of course, you have to use your imagination also to provide the necessary vocabulary. Next headline. In-laws held in Dowry case. In this headline, the verb is in past form. Explanation. In a dowry case filed by woman, her husband and in-laws have been arrested. So, where the verb is in past form, we are to use it in past participle form, which is having passive meanings. Next, we have the headline, Cell phones at cheaper rates. Here again, the headline is in simple present form. Explanation. Samsung Mobiles has introduced a new range of mobiles at cheaper rates. We have used present perfect tense to explain this headline. So students, after going through all the categories and the explanation of different headlines, we come to the conclusion that there are some points, important points rather, to remember while explaining newspaper headlines. These points are: newspaper headlines are not always complete sentences. Insert articles wherever required. When verb is in simple present, use present perfect or present continuous in the explanation. Use the phrase going to show future time reference if the infinitive to appears in the headline. Consider seemingly simple past tense verb as past participle form of the verb having passive meanings. So students, I hope you have understood the topic of newspaper headlines completely. Explaining headlines may seem difficult, but if you practice them again and again, you will be able to explain any of the headlines which you come across in the newspapers. Now it's time for homework. Browse the internet and note down 5 newspaper headlines of any reputed newspaper in your notebooks and explain them. So students, that's all for today's topic. Thank you.